What's up everybody? My name is Joey and today I'm showing you part 3 of my entire video game collection as of February 8, 2022. In total there are 3 parts up on YouTube now. The first shows my Nintendo collection, the second is all PlayStation, and this one is a combination of my entire Xbox and Sega collections. To recap from the last videos, I started collecting games in September 2020 and right now I have collected about 1000 games and 30 some systems. Approximately 200 of those games are for my Xbox and Sega systems, so that's what I'm showing you today. I'll make sure to add chapters to the video again so you'll be able to skip to the parts that you're most interested in. We'll start off with the original Xbox, then go through the 360 and the Xbox One. And then afterwards I will show my Master System games and my Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, if you will. So without further ado, I hope you will sit back, relax and stay around for a bit while I talk about my Xbox and Sega collections. Alright, let's just get started with my original Xbox collection. I don't have the biggest Xbox original collection, just because I didn't have an Xbox back in the day, but I did pick up quite a few exclusives and the like. The first one, not an exclusive, but it's 50 Cent Bulletproof, also came out on the PS2. Now there's two 50 Cent games, one of my favorite artists, actually seen him perform live in my country, which was really cool. But yeah, this one isn't the best out of the two, but cool to have nonetheless. This is 187 Ride or Die. I don't know too much about this game. It looks like a very violent action type of game. Here is Ajax Club Football. This one is the season 03-04 version. And I believe this one is rather expensive. And then Ajax Club Football 2005. I think this one is quite a lot cheaper for some reason. Next up is Amped, the first one. Nice alternative to SSX on the PS2. And here's Amped 2. Now this is a game I had never heard of, but when I got it in a lot, I researched a bit about it and yeah, it looked pretty cool. Animaniacs did a great Edgar Hunt, so it's just a collectathon, but collectathons from that time period are just really fun anyway. Here's Black. I think the US version of this has a way better looking cover. Brute Force. Now I purchased this originally through a lot as well and then resold it, and someone on Instagram, shout out to NJ Retro, he actually told me to that I should have kept this one, and so yeah, I found it a second time and I decided to keep it. Here's Call of Duty Finest Hour. Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. The original Counter-Strike, or well, a Xbox port of it. And Crazy Taxi 3, which I believe only came out in Europe on the original Xbox, not on the Dreamcast or GameCube, for which the other games came out. Here is Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge. I have a pretty beat up disc for this one, but I heard that it's one of the better games for the Xbox, so I just had to get it. Death Row, really weird sports type of game. The original Fable. Here is Far Cry Instincts. Currently playing through Far Cry 6. So yeah, I believe this game started the franchise. Here's sort of like a sequel or expansion, Far Cry Instincts Evolution. Half-Life 2. Cult classic. My copy of Halo Combat Evolved, so the first Halo. Unfortunately it's a classic version, but I'll upgrade eventually. Halo 2 as well, of course. Hunter the Reckoning. So this is based off a tabletop RPG, sort of like Dungeons and Dragons. Then yeah, Hunter the Reckoning. And a sequel, Redeemer. and I'm missing one. Not sure what it's called, but yeah. Gun, just a €1 pickup that I got in a local store sometime, and I heard that this was a mediocre game, but for €1 I decided to get it and try it out sometime. Next is Jade Empire by BioWare. It's one of the earlier BioWare titles. Kung Fu Chaos, really cool, sort of like a Super Smash Bros. Knockoff. Original Xbox exclusive as well. Next is MechAssault. Medal of Honor Frontline. Medal of Honor Rising Sun. I remember playing these back in the day. Not on the Xbox, but on the PS2. Or the GameCube even, I don't even remember. Miami Vice. This looked really cool. It's probably just another, you know, of course it's probably based on the series, but it's probably just a GTA Vice City knockoff game. But yeah, it's actually rather expensive, or like in the mid range. I think it's like €20 or so. Panzer Dragoon Order. I did play the original Panzer Dragoon on Switch, the port. Thought it was okay, not my type of genre, but yeah, I want to try this one and see how this is. Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Tides of War. Now I do own this for PS2 as well, and it's a different version to the PS2 one. Sudeki. This was recommended to me through YouTube, and yeah, so I got it for a couple of euros. Haven't gotten around to playing. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I love Skyrim, and I also played Oblivion quite a bit. Never tried out Morrowind, but this is basically what the Elder Scrolls Online is based on. I do want to go into this, but it's just, you know, kind of hard to go into such an open world RPG after so many years, and being used to all the new gen graphics and the like. But yeah, that's definitely a game that's on my backlog. Time Splitters, Future Perfect. True Crime, Streets of LA. And the final original Xbox game, 13 or XYYY, or yeah, I, whatever. Okay, so that rounds up my original Xbox games. Let's move over to my 360 games, and I've got a crazy amount, so just gonna make some room. There we go. Like I said, I've got a crazy amount of Xbox 360 games. It's like over 160, I believe. I'll try to go through them a bit quickly. There's a lot of titles that I played back in the day, and that's the reason why I still keep the games, because of the memories I have with them, and I like owning the physical games still. But yeah, also maybe some less interesting titles like all of the Call of Duties and stuff. I'll just go through these a bit more quickly. To start off with 007 Quantum of Solace. Here's 007 Bloodstone. I hear this is one of the best 007 games, and this is actually a game that is like not a movie James Bond, so it's an original story for the game. Here's 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, and it's the second 50 Cent game. This one is actually quite pricey and supposed to be a lot better. Afro Samurai, one of the not compatible games for the Xbox One, Series X. So definitely good to look out for if you are a 360 collector. Alan Wake, that got a remaster that I haven't picked up yet. Alice Madness Returns, another highly looked at 360 game. Alpha Protocol, the espionage RPG. Now, I owned this game a couple of times, always resold it because I thought it was a shooter just based on like a quick glance at the front cover. But it's actually a shooter RPG, sort of like Mass Effect, probably a totally different game, but you get what I mean. And yeah, I'm totally big into RPGs, so I had to keep it the last time that I owned it. Amped 3. Army of Two, amazing co-op game. Great memories with that. Here's the second one, the 40th day. And the last one, the Devil's Cartel. Now for the Assassin's Creed series, I've played a couple of them. I played the first one on PC, but I do have the 360 version now. This is my favorite Assassin's Creed. It's the Assassin's Creed 2, of course. Almost got all the achievements on it back in the day, and yeah, really fond memories of that. I just couldn't get all the feathers. That was just too much of a hassle. It's like the last collective, the collectathon achievement. Assassin's Creed 3. Now this is where I kind of fell out. But yeah, I did decide to collect all the the next games. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Played this on Wii U. Really enjoyed it. Never got around to finishing. This is Assassin's Creed Birth of a New World, the American saga. So this has Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 as well. But then it adds Liberation. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Revelations. Rogue. Then the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts. Played this a little bit back in the day. Thought it was okay, but yeah, nothing like the original Banjo-Kazooie on N64, of course. The Batman trilogy on Xbox 360 is also really good. This is the first game, Arkham City. I think it's the first one, anyway. Arkham Asylum. And Arkham Origins. I think it makes sense that this will be the first one, Origins. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. So lots of shooters back then. Now this is one of my favorite 360 games, Battlefield Bad Company. And actually, this one was even better, Bad Company 2. Amazing game, great story mode, amazing online mode, really good fun. And here's Battlefield 3. Next, I have two special editions of the Bioshock games. The first one is the Steelbook of the first Bioshock. And I have the Rapture edition of the second one. So this has a art book and the game. And finally, Bioshock Infinite. One of the scarce JRPGs on Xbox 360 is Blue Dragon. Really cool concept art. Art style, I mean. I played this a little bit back then, but just, I know, like I couldn't get into it too much. Borderlands. I did decide to sell off my Borderlands 2 copy because I do own it on in a collection for the PS4 by now. Brutal Legend, really cool rock metal game with lots of music references. Bulletstorm, really over the top shooter. Bullet Witch. Now for the Call of Duties, here's Call of Duty 2. 3. 4 Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare 2, great game, played this a lot, especially compared to the other ones. And Modern Warfare 3 was a great game as well, just not as good as 2. My favorite Call of Duty game of all time, Call of Duty Black Ops. Got this after the release and played it for like a couple of hundred hours. I prestiged like 12 times, I think, online. Black Ops 2. That I played a little bit as well, but I never really got into Black Ops 3. Here's Advanced Warfare. Ghosts. And the last one, Call of Duty World at War, or Call of Duty 5, as many people used to refer to it. Here is Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I'm still missing the second one, I think. And this is a music rhythm game, also compatible with the Kinect one and the Kinect system, Child of Eden. Really artsy game. Sealed copy of Red Alert 3. I picked this up for €1 sealed, like a couple of months ago. Thought, why not? And here's Condemned. Now I'll just move this part over for now, as I'm going by it shelf by shelf. And the next games are on the second shelf. So naturally, after Condemned 1, here's Condemned 2. Crackdown, really awesome, sort of like an open world action, not an RPG, action game. And you're like a really crazy superhero kind of dude with these amazing powers. Crackdown 2. Haven't played the second game, but it's supposed to be quite good as well. Crysis 2. I'm missing the first game. And there's only a couple of games I'm missing for the 360. I'm quite happy with what I have at this point. Crysis 3. Darksiders. Dead Island. Dead or Alive Extreme 2. I think this one is slowly becoming one of the more collectible games for the 360 as well. It's basically just a sports, mainly volleyball game in the Dead or Alive universe. Really crazy game, but fun to have. Deus Ex Human Revolution. This one is the augmented edition, so it comes with a couple of extra goodies. And yeah, really immaculate condition, so that's cool. Just gonna line these up. Next is Dead Space. And of course, I've also got Dead Space 2 and the Dead Space 3. This one's limited edition. Not sure what is limited about it. Probably just has some, yeah, just an expansion pass. I'm not sure if the code is used though. Now these are getting like a remastered treatment for new gen consoles. Devil May Cry 4. Dragon Age Origins. And Dragon Age 2. I played Origins a little bit, looked really cool. Just somehow didn't follow up and continued. Now this is Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Like skipped past this game a couple of times in a local store, and then someone recommended it on YouTube and decided to get it for a couple of euros. Escape Dead Island. Eternal Sonata, one of the other JRPGs. Really cool music themed JRPG. You're playing as a guy called Frédéric Chopin, which of course is a composer from you know, a couple of centuries ago. Can't remember exactly what year, but yeah, really cool game, really unique. Like it's definitely a unique type of game. Fable 2, this is the collector's edition. Fable 3, the game that I played the most out of them. And this is Far Cry, the Wild Expedition. I think this is also one of the more collectible games. This one has Far Cry Instincts, Far Cry 2, 3, and then I'm not sure what it's called. Far Cry Blood Dragon, which is, I believe, a DLC, but I think you can only get it through this version, which is cool. Here's Fear. These games got recommended to me when I was like 16, but I found them way too scary. And now, so many years later, I did pick them up. Fear 2 and Fear 3. Also got a copy of Final Fantasy 11 online. The servers are down for the 360, obviously. But yeah, I just wanted to have a Final Fantasy 11 copy for my Final Fantasy collection, of course. Here's Gears of War. Gears of War 2. Amazing games. Gears of War 3, of course. Out of these three, I believe the second one would be my favorite. Amazing story, almost brought me to tears back in the day. About Gears of War 3, I also have a limited edition version that I couldn't find really quick, so I just decided not to dig out the entire attic, but it actually has like a flag and a medal, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the next shelf. It was a smaller one. I'll just move these over and move on to the last one, which has a lot of games, because we're only at the G. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I moved all of the remainder of the games onto my desk, and it's almost collapsing. There's so many. I think there's more than like 100 games, but anyway, we'll just continue. And before I do, I just wanted to say that I really like collecting for the Xbox 360, and what I like especially about my current collection of games here is that it was practically free. These games are really easy to collect for nowadays, at least in 2020 to 2022. They were, and I managed to collect all of these by just reselling, buying games in lots, reselling, yada yada. But yeah, I think only a couple of games are probably the more expensive ones. I paid a couple of euros each for, but most of the other ones, I would say like 90 to 95% of them, I actually recouped all of the money I spent for them. And so yeah, this is pretty much a free collection that I amassed over the last, say, 1.5 years. So that's really awesome, and that's definitely something that I didn't expect would happen so soon. But yeah, let's continue. Here's Gears of War Judgment. I'm just gonna start over there because there's so many. Grand Theft Auto 4. GTA Episodes from Liberty City. I don't have GTA 5 anymore just because I own it on PS4 now. Guitar Hero. Actually have 2 guitars and quite a lot of Guitar Hero games. I actually have Guitar Hero 2 coming in the mail this week, but here is free, my favorite one. Guitar Hero 5. Aerosmith. Really cool that they did this thing where they asked the band for the rights. Metallica. Van Halen, the Dutch legendary guitarist from my home country. World Tour. Now another copy of the first Halo game, Combat Evolved. Really cool version. Halo 3 ODST. Oh, bumped the camera really quick. Here's Halo 3. Let's just put them back in order. Halo 4. Now my favorite one is Halo Reach. Played this so much, and the Horde mode as well. I'm not sure it's... I don't know what the Horde mode was called, but yeah, you know, when I say Horde mode, you probably know what I mean. You just get the waves and waves of enemies and it doesn't stop until you die. Halo Wars. This is a limited edition that I got for 2 euros or so. Really cool, with a steelbook and an art book and that type of stuff. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. Both kind of pricey games. Here's Hunted. Really underrated gem. This game, I mean, if you would play this on your own, you'd probably see the flaws that it has. It's quite a short game. It's it sort of reminds me of Gears of War in a sense, even though it's a bit more fantasy-like. But I love playing this game. I think I bought this on release or short thereafter. Paid full price for it, and I played this through with my cousin. And then when you play it on co-op, which is essentially the way that you want to play this game, one of the players gets to play as this archer, and the other one becomes the tank. And you can switch roles as well, like switching the controller. But yeah, amazing game, and the teamwork that is necessary for this is just... It's kind of janky, but so much fun when playing with someone else. So definitely look out for that if you have someone to play it with. Another JRPG, Infinite Undiscovery. Haven't played that, but it's supposed to be pretty good. Just Cause 2. It's the only Just Cause game that I decided to get. Supposedly this one is the one. I think this one got amazing reviews back in the day, so it's like a over-the-top, kind of like a GTA sort of Far Cry sort of game. Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom. Just keep these stacks like that way that I shelved them. LA Noire. Never got around to playing this, but yeah, I heard so many good things about it, especially back in the day. The graphics were top-notch. Left 4 Dead. Played that a little bit back then. And Left 4 Dead 2. Lost Odyssey, another JRPG. One of the final ones that I have, I think. This one is like a very mature JRPG, and a reason why you should get an Xbox if you are a JRPG fan, or RPG for that matter. Mafia 2. Amazing game. Played through that as well and loved it. Loved every bit of it. I need to get back to that. Mass Effect, the trilogy. For some reason I picked up this this edition sometime. Now that they remastered it for PS4, I want to get that and play that version. Max Payne 3. Medal of Honor. Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. So this is in the Metal Gear Solid series. It's like an action hack and slash, I think. Metro 2033. Midnight Club Los Angeles, another collectible game. It's getting up there in price. Mirror's Edge. Mortal Kombat. This is, it starts with MX versus ATV Reflex. Pretty cool racing game. 99 Nights. This one has a sequel as well that I'm still looking for. Amazing game, my favorite Naruto game, Naruto Rise of a Ninja. Played this back in the day after watching or actually while I was watching weekly uploads of the Naruto anime. And it's an awesome sort of like open world action game with RPG elements. And then there's of course the fighting part. But really cool. This really holds up with the graphics. It's like sort of like cel shaded. And you complete missions for villagers, and then you follow the story of Naruto, just like in the anime. And this is the sequel, The Broken Bond, which is a lot harder to get than the Rise of a Ninja. Ultimate Ninja 3. I'm not sure if it was this one. No, it wasn't. Then it should be the next one, I think. Yeah, it's this one. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations, which has a pack of cards that just fell out. Yeah, it has this pack of cards. Pretty cool to have, in my opinion. Let's just not damage the cards and put it back like that. Okay, that works. Next is Naughty Bear. This was such a letdown. When this game was announced, I watched some trailers, I watched a review when it came out. And the review was already pretty bad, but the premises of this game just looked so appealing to me. I was a teenager, of course, it did appeal to me. But basically what this is, you're a murderous teddy bear. And basically you, I think you get declined for a party, like you don't get invited, and you tear up the whole place. And you have all these other bears, and you have numerous ways of destroying them, like with a flamethrower or an axe or traps and all that kind of stuff. And it's like a really unique game, and you should definitely give this a try. Like anyone who has a 360 should try this game out. I liked it, but yeah, if you look at it more objectively, it's not a good game, but it's so unique that it's worth a playthrough. Need for Speed Carbon. Need for Speed Most Wanted with the ugly classics case. Nier. Now this got a remake in Nier Replicant on the PS4. I did play through Nier Automata just the other week. Liked it pretty much. I played through the first 5 endings, and yeah, this is like a prequel to that. I don't think I'm ever gonna play this version, because if I do, I'll just play the updated one on PS4. Ninja Blade. It's a game by From Software. Of course, one of the big name developers nowadays, with Elden Ring that just came out a couple of months ago. Ninja Gaiden 3. There we go. Next stack. Sacred 3. Now this is actually resealed, shrink wrapped, but it actually has the original sealing sticker, so I just decided to keep the shrink wrap on it. Risen 2 Dark Waters. Really heard mixed opinions on this. People who are big into the RPG genre, the Western RPG anyway, they did recommend it to me, but I also heard some negative things. Here's Risen, so I'll just swap these. I think there's also a third game, not sure, but I don't have it anyway. Resident Evil 5, the only Resident Evil game that I actually played, honestly, well, I do have most of them. Resident Evil 6, the Steelbook version. And something that I hate about these old Steelbooks, I mean, it goes with the theme a little bit. It doesn't matter too much that this one is damaged, but I feel like these get like really dirty and rusty and damaged. So I don't collect Steelbooks like when I have to go out of my way to get them. Here's a recent pickup, Remember Me. Had never heard about this, never seen it. It's supposedly pretty okay. I got it for €1, so decided to keep that. Red Faction Guerrilla, played a little bit. It's like a game with very destructible surroundings. So way back when 360 games came out, that was kind of unique. So you can just take a sledgehammer and destroy all buildings and use vehicles to drive through everything that you find, and that's pretty cool. It's like a unique experience, but yeah, not the best game, at least not in my opinion. Rayman Legends, awesome game. Came out on every single system that you can think of. Here is Prototype, and I'm just going by these, not in alphabetical order anymore. It's just something that I saw. Anyway, I've got Prototype 1 and 2. So yeah, bear with me. I'm going back a little bit with the alphabet. Prince of Persia. This one's pretty good. I played it for a little bit back in the day. Portal 2, one of my favorites for the 360. Definitely a must-have. Phantasy Star Universe. Persona 4 Arena. Painkiller, Hell and Damnation. I believe especially in the US this is an extremely expensive game for the 360. I think I picked this one up for €10 or so in Europe, which was a pretty good deal. Overlord. Onichambara, Bikini Samurai Squad. Yeah, take a moment to let that sink in. Cool game though. And here is Of Orcs and Men. Also a really cool concept, but just another one of those games that I haven't gotten around to. And then the final stack, I'll just move these over so it fits in the frame a little bit better. Another classics case for Saints Row. Saints Row 2. Saints Row the 3rd. Got that for €3. Lots of frees. Saints Row 4, which also came out on the newer gen consoles, but yeah, decided to just get it here. I wasn't planning on getting any more Saints Row games for the time being, so I just have these set on the Xbox for now. Silent Hill Homecoming. And Skate 3, which is an awesome sports game. I'm so bad at this, but back in high school, my younger brother had a friend who was big into skating, and he was also really good at this game. So he came over to our place like once a week, and we played this game. And whenever it was his turn, I just didn't want to grab hold of the controller until he was like really burned out by playing, because watching someone play who's really good at this game is just so awesome. So if you're not familiar with this, it's sort of like the Tony Hawk games, of course, because it's a skating game. But then Tony Hawk is like really unrealistic, over the top. You can do all kinds of tricks with just a single press of the button. And this game is really realistic. So you need to use the sticks to, for example, use the sticks in a certain way to do a single simple kickflip. And when you're really good at this game, that's really impressive, I think. Sleeping Dogs. Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic 06. Really controversial game. Mixed opinions. South Park The Stick of Truth. Here's the Beatles Rock Band. I solely got this just because it's compatible with the Guitar Hero guitars. Here is The Darkness. Played this a little bit as well. I used to have quite a big 360 collection back in the day. I sold off everything, but Many of these I had back then, and I played them for a little bit, never finished any games then. Darkness 2, the sequel. Here's the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Amazing edition that I got for $10. Art book, game, posters, I think. Really cool find. And definitely one of the more collectible games, I think, as well. For the 360, because it didn't come out for other systems. I do have Skyrim as well. I'm still waiting for the Legendary Edition, or whatever it's called, for the PS4 and 5 to drop in price, so I can sell this and upgrade. Last Remnant, JRPG. The Orange Box. Back then, this was such a big deal. You got Half-Life 2, the second episode, Team Fortress 2, and Portal, the original Portal. I think it's still the only way to get the original Portal on the Xbox 360. This was so much value in one box. The Witcher 2. This is the enhanced edition with the map, and there's also an art book, I think, and a slipcover, and yeah, one of the more pricier games for 360. 2 Human. Not bad, not good. Tron Evolution. I don't know anything about this game. I picked it up. It was sealed. It was €1. Ooh, yeah, sure. On the stack you go. Vanquish. Amazing lenticular cover, as you can probably or hopefully see. Played through this. It's only like 5 hours long, but an amazing game. Really fun. Over the top action shooter. Viking. Played this as well. Awesome game, hack and slash. It's probably mediocre by today's standards, but back then I just loved these action hack and slash type of games. Warhammer 40k, Space Marine. Warriors Orochi. Stumbled across this in a lot as well. Decided to keep it. I don't know if I enjoy the Warriors games. I'm not too big into... Like, I just said that I'm into hack and slash action type of games, but this is like next level hack and slash games with like thousands of enemies on the screen, and yeah, just... I don't have too much experience with them, but they feel kind of repetitive, but since it came in a lot, it's worth quite a bit. I decided to keep it and resell it if I ever feel like cleaning the shelves a bit. Wolfenstein. And the final 2 games are XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM Enemy Within. So that rounds up my 360 games. As you can see, quite a lot of them. So many that I can't even keep count, and my shelves are actually quite full, so I have to take it easy on the 360 collecting. There's 2 games that I have in the mail, which are Guitar Hero 2, like I said, and also Asura's Wrath. And that's a very cool title that I wanted to get for a while. Other than that, I think I have like 8, maybe 10 titles on my wish list for 360 right now. But that's it. Then I'm satisfied and I'm done with collecting for them. For some time, I looked at... Well, I moved these aside. I looked at collecting shoot 'em ups for the 360, but that's like where I try to set the boundary for myself, because I don't want to, like, collecting can become kind of addicting, you know, so I tend to collect every game that I used to have back then and games that I couldn't get back then because of money issues, and anything that comes across my path that just looks interesting or got great reviews or got recommended to me. And then there are these shoot 'em ups for 360, like Death Smiles and stuff like that. And while they do get amazing reviews, recommended as well, but shoot 'em ups is, you know, it's just not my type of genre. So I decided to just steer away from it, not get them, because they're quite expensive games. And while they do make a great addition to a collection like this, to me, I mean, I'm not missing out not having them, I think. But yeah, that's just something that I feel like as a collector kind of gets rough sometimes, because you have the urge to collect as much as you can at times, and then you sell off some stuff. At least that's what I do. Thin out a bit, just to decide like, okay, I have GTA 5 on PS4, I have it on 360, I have it on PS3. Okay, let's just get rid of the old gen games, just keep the PS4 version. You know, decisions like that can be hard for some games, but yeah, I think that's just the eternal struggle for collectors like us. Anyway, like I said, I also have a couple of Xbox One games, so I'll just move these aside and continue with the Xbox One games. And then after that, I do have some Sega and PC games left to show you. Not too many, but yeah, I'll show them anyway. Alright, so with a clean sheet, we can move on to the final part of this video, and actually the final part of my entire collection. I know this third video actually took a while to make. I've been so busy writing my thesis, and you know, real life stuff got in the way. I started playing games more instead of collecting, so this kind of got to the second place. Anyway, I have 4 Xbox One games. I don't even have an Xbox One, but these were some of the games that I could get for cheap, and that I knew that I wanted to play in the future when I do get a Series X. Here's Gears of War 4, Halo 5, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and the final one is Sunset Overdrive. Now I think I compiled a list of Xbox One games. Of course, just exclusive Xbox One games, because whenever a game came out on both Xbox One and PS4, I just tend to get the PS4 version to play on my PS5. But for Xbox One, I have a list of like 10 games. One of them is like the Rare Replay, Rise, Son of Rome, you know, Ori, stuff like that. Really cool games that I did want to get for the Xbox One that are still on my wish list, but not too high because, you know, I don't have the system. Moving on, I have one Sega system, which is the Sega Mega Drive, or referred to as Genesis in the States. And that's the only Sega system that I have. I do have some Master System games. I'll go over these just after the Genesis games on Mega Drive. Here is Echo the Dolphin, Mega Games 1. I think this is exclusive to Europe, but this has Super Hang-On, Columns, and World Cup Italia 90. You know, not the best games, but okay to have. Now this is a great compilation. Mega Games 2, which has Revenge of Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and Golden Axe. Some games, especially the second and the third one, that I want to try out sometime. And then 2 must-haves. Here's Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, and Sonic 2. I do need the third one, but yeah. Just as with the Xbox One, these are not on my priority lists right now because I don't ever play my Sega console. Now, for the Sega Master System, I only have, wait, how many do I have? 10 games, I think. And the reason why is because I could pick them up in a lot for like really cheap. I think I paid like maybe 60 euros for all of these. I think even less, maybe 40, 45 for 10 games. So there's a couple of heavy hitters here, but yeah, just a couple of generic games as well. This is Action Fighter, California Games. I was gonna sell this, but then someone recommended it, and I was like, okay, I'll keep it. Choplifter, really cool game. Really basic though, of course. The Master System, I know that it came out around the time the NES was popular, so it's the 8-bit era. Games are really basic, and I mean, I was born in '93, so I'm not like from the older generation that grew up with the NES, the SNES, or even the Master System or Genesis. But yeah, still, it's fun to collect for these systems, you know, learn about them, learn about the history. But yeah, it does show that I'm not the biggest, the most avid collector of these games. You can tell by the number of games that I have for them. That was Enduro Racer, by the way. Fire and Forget 2. So most of these are just like shooter games or adventure. Secret Command. Shinobi. That's pretty cool to have. I'm happy with that. Time Soldiers. Here's Wonder Boy. Now, to be fair, when I purchased this lot, and there's one more game after this, I mainly bought it because I know that Wonder Boy was quite expensive. So I paid the amount that I said before, and I was expecting to get like most of that back by selling Wonder Boy, because I didn't have the biggest interest in playing this. It looks fun, but I think it got a re-release on Switch or something, or PS4. So I opened it, and it was empty. The guy that I bought the games from just, got them from his attic, and he knew nothing about the games. I already underpaid him so much, so I wasn't gonna ask for a refund just because Wonder Boy wasn't there. But that was one of the biggest bummers that I experienced through my collecting journey over the last 2 years. World Grand Prix is the last one. Okay, so yeah, that's it for my Xbox One games, my Sega games. Not too many, but I'm not too fussed. Let's move these out of the way. Like that. And I'll finish off with my PC games. Not too many either. But yeah, just some games that I have memories with from my youth. And I'm not a PC gamer anymore, but these games I did play back in the day. And yeah, some memories, some good, some bad. I'll explain. So the first one is Dink Smallwood. It's a fantasy RPG, and this is actually the first game that I ever saw being played in my life. My dad used to play this, and he was really bad at it. I remember it's just a really generic RPG for the PC. But yeah, when I found this on Marketplace, I decided to get it. The case all cracked up. It's a Best Buy's version. But whatever, this is like gaming history to me, It's the first game that I ever saw being played. Next is Guild Wars Nightfall. Now, this is the game that got me into PC gaming, like as a dedicated gamer. I played Guild Wars a little bit when I was at an exchange student in Germany and when I was in high school. And I was also already contemplating playing World of Warcraft. And then I saw him playing Guild Wars, and I just saw him play it, try and make a character myself. And I just fell in love with the world, with the adventure, like so many choices that you could make, the open world, the maps, the fantasy lore. That just really drew me in. And yeah, later on I did get the Guild Wars Complete Collection. I'm not sure if this is like if it's really still the complete collection by now, or that expansion game afterwards, but yeah, fun to have nonetheless. Here's Diablo 2. This is the expansion set. I don't have the base game. And the original StarCraft with the expansion set. I'm still looking for StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, which I did play quite a bit when it came out. Next is Warcraft 3, which is another one of those PC games that got me into gaming, that set this fire within me to play games, collect them later on. Played this a lot with my cousins. So much fun, especially the custom maps that were made back then. I put so many hours into that. I dare say that I played this for 500 hours or so when I was a teen. And this is the expansion pack that I never bought myself, but that I did play a lot at my cousins. Here I have another copy of Morrowind. This is the PC version. Rollercoaster Tycoon, the free pack. So it's the base game with 2 expansions. Another game that I played a lot when I was really young, like when I was 8 or 9. And Zoo Tycoon is another one of those. Awesome game. It's so much fun to look back at these boxes and think back of the days when I was just a tiny little gamer dude. Diablo 3.
and the expansion Reaper of Souls. Love these boxes by Blizzard. Just awesome. Now, this is probably the... yeah, it's actually the final part of my collection, and I'll just move them in screen. Here I've got World of Warcraft, as well as the Burning Crusades, Lich King, and Cataclysm expansions. Cataclysm is actually still sealed. I picked that up for €5 at a store some time ago. But just moving these over. Now, as some of you might know, World of Warcraft was the game that I played the most in my life. I played this game for 18,000 hours. 18,000 hours. It's absolutely crazy. At some point, I was so addicted to it that when I did manage to stop playing, I actually burned my boxes, my discs, in a campfire in the backyard. And then just recently, I saw someone listing these for a couple of euros, the first 3 expansions, which were the ones that I played the most. And then Cataclysm I picked up later. I did play a little bit of Mists of Pandaria, so I want to get that still. But yeah, it's not something that I want to pay a lot of money for. But it's still something that I want to have on the shelf and that I can look back at and, you know, reminisce. So many good memories with this game. Also some painful ones, because just this game was so addicting to me, and it was like my my escapism back in the day. And yeah, what else can I say about it? It's just a massive game, and they still keep making these expansions for it. And like, I think this week they announced Dragon Flight or Dragon Song or whatever the newest expansion is going to be called. I fell out of World of Warcraft in 2013, I think. So that's like 9 years ago. I'm still happy and proud that I never got back into playing it, because that's not like the type of gaming experience that I'm looking for nowadays. I just like to sit back, turn on a console, grab a controller, sit on the couch, and just chill and play a single player game. I'm not a competitive gamer anymore, or like I don't play my games on like extremely hard difficulties. I just usually pick easy or normal modes. But yeah, just to show a little bit more of my game collection and tell a bit about my history with games. Yeah, and World of Warcraft is definitely a big part of that. So that rounds up this video and the third and last video of my collection. I hope you enjoyed watching these, and if you did, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. If there's any games that you didn't see in my collection that you're like, you should definitely get those, let me know, because I do my own research, but yeah, there's always some games that are more obscure and unknown that I somehow miss. But I'm always looking for these experiences, and yeah, there's always place on the shelf for another game or two. Anyway, thank you guys. I might upload another video in the future, I don't know. But this was mainly for me to catalog my own games and look back to in a couple of years. But that's enough rambling. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye.